Welcome to the first ever open world Star Wars game. Set in the dangerous golden age of the underworld.
Let's raise the stakes, shall we?
Okay.
You play as Kay Vess, a scoundrel looking to start a new life. Kay gets pulled into a plan that will change everything.
I believe if you follow the plan, no one gets hurt.
Fortunately, she won't do it alone. From childhood, Kay and Nix have been inseparable partners,
You're welcome.
helping each other every step of the way.
All right, distract him, Nix.
Using their criminal skills and tools, Kay and Nix will have to constantly adapt to every scenario.
Nix, you want to drop that for me? Come on. Whoa.
If you don't want me to sound the alarm, you'll get me out of here.
As your versatility grows, gain access to new skills and more lucrative contracts.
There she is!
A friend needs a little something stolen.
And in this world, your actions have consequences.
I can't let you walk out of here. I'm gonna finish it. Shame.
And reputation is everything.
Where is he?
The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, and more attention you'll receive from some of the most notorious syndicates of the galaxy.
And how did you think it was going to end?
Tell the governor the payments will not increase.
It's up to you where your loyalties lie.
Hey, Nix!
Being wanted by the Empire brings a new set of challenges.
This is getting bad. Hold tight!
So as your exploits grow, beware of who you cross.
Hang on!
Scattered across the stars are unique locations, rich biomes, environments, and adventures to discover. Traverse the lush jungle world of Akiva, the ancient city of Kijimi, the dangerous savannah moon of Tashara, or roam the lawless planet of Tatooine. When it's time to move, pilot Kay's Trailblazer to transition from planet to planet.
MD, fire up the hyperdrive.
Ready to jump.
Once you land, you can explore all these worlds on Kay's S-57 Cardinal speeder. This is the life of an outlaw, a life where you fight, explore, and infiltrate parts of the galaxy you never thought possible. There are opportunities at every turn, and if you're willing to take the risk and defy the odds, the galaxy is yours for the taking.
One of the things that really stood out to me was that this is an adventure of discovery and finding things and exploration, and puzzles are a big part of that. And what the two we found for like unlocking things or hacking was basically one is Wordle, but Star Wars, and it's very confusing, but don't worry, we'll have a guide. And it was a lot of fun. And then the other was like this little rhythm game lock, which was actually pretty cool. So it's, if those are kind of like your jam, they're not that often, but they of course feature them in this preview, and I really liked getting to play them. The second part of that, of course, is talking about how this does feel familiar to other games we've played, and if you want to take that part away.
Yeah, I think that the elevator pitch for this would be, if someone on the street asked me what Star Wars Outlaws was, I would just be like, Star Wars, but Uncharted, or Tomb Raider. And I think that's a fair assessment. That's what they're going for, but I think this is a very good version of that. They're doing a lot of the right things, and I think there's still like some rough parts here and there. Of course, the game's still an early build that we're playing, but I really like that they're really keying in on the things that you find familiar about those things, but making it Star Wars. And, you know, sometimes that's just what people want. Like there's action, there's shootouts, there's stealth. Like we're talking about the different puzzles that are kind of interspersed between the action gives it a little bit of a like breaking the pace, and putting that in the context of Star Wars, where you're going from planet to planet, all these different cultures and cities, and getting into all kinds of trouble as a scoundrel. I think this style of game is suited for what Star Wars is about, or can be about.
The third thing was that we got a nice little companion Nyx, the little axolotl cute critter that just like rides on your back. Sometimes companion characters can be really annoying, especially if they're animals and they're like really trying to play it up and be like, look how cute. And I love cute things, don't get me wrong. We love cute things. But are they helpful? And are they unobtrusive? And the answer is yes, at least from the hour we played. I play a lot of games where there are companion things, and if they just make too many noises, it can be really annoying and also really distracting if you're trying to focus on something or listen to a conversation around the corner. And good news is that Nyx is wonderful. Like, I loved sending Nyx out to just go distract the stormtroopers or other enemy guards that were just like hanging out, and they're so mean to him though. I was like, no, don't shoot him. But yeah, I'll go grab stuff for you, so if there's something kind of out of the way where you don't want to necessarily go sneak into, you can just say like, Nyx, go get it. Nyx will also help in combat, and go retrieve weapons. Like, I just put myself down in a corner where you're supposed to just like run, but instead I was like, I'm standing my ground. And Nyx was like, I brought you another massive blaster, and like, thank you, my sweet pet. So it's a very good companionship. So that's kind of another thing we definitely learned from this is that it's not annoying, which I think is very important because it can be easy to make those characters annoying. And for our fourth thing, we found that there is a lot of different sorts of environments to be had for your adventure. And if you'd like to talk more about that.
Sure, yes. I think because we had 3 separate levels or 3 separate sequences to play through, and it gave you a taste of everything. So you got to do kind of like the platforming, oh my god, the floor under me is about to crumble and I need to jump to this ledge, and then you do that. Like, I'm not a big fan of that in games, but I understand the purpose for them. But but they quickly move you to like a combat encounter, or they move on to like some story content, or you're infiltrating a place. So another mission that we went through was a great encapsulation of that, where we're in an Imperial base, and it starts off with stealth. We hack a system, we move cargo into a ship, a big firefight breaks out, we hop onto that ship, and immediately you're now flying in space, almost like a Star Wars Rogue Squadron all of a sudden. And then from there, you get into some space dogfights, and then from there you immediately land on Mirogana, I think is like the home planet, or the city on a home planet, yeah, and then you seamlessly land on there, no load times. So there's also a seamlessness to all this variety, and it goes from one thing to another, so you never feel like, oh, I'm stuck doing 20 minutes of one thing. And then from there, you're just in this city with a whole bunch of people and things happening, things marked on your map, and I think that's just like a good example of what Star Wars Outlaws is capable of doing.
Yes, which brings me to number 5, which there's just a lot to do, which as a guides person, like, that's super exciting and also intimidating, but mostly exciting. So even going back into the space combat, like, I popped open the map and it's like, there are 15 treasures to find. And I was like, in all this debris? Where am I gonna find it? It's like, I'll find it with the help of our maps, but I'm sorry. You gotta let me have a little bit of this, guys. I don't get to be on camera often. But anyway, to the point, there is a lot to like find and do, and also people to make angry, which I could have said in a worse way, but I said make angry, because you wanna befriend these people, these different groups of criminal organizations. You have reputation rankings with them, and raising your reputation awards you different treasures and I'm sure other benefits as well. Like, there's a lot to find, a lot of side quests. I think when I was peeking around in the map, like, there are experts that you go to get like different skills and other things upgraded. So like, until you find these people, until you explore it, you don't get the full, I think, scoundrel immersiveness that you could have. But you can also like probably mainline it a bit too. And so I think the promise of there being a lot, like I saw, like, there's charms to find, you have outfits, you have your primary blaster that you can change around, it has its, stun function, it has an ion blast. And so I think there's just a lot there to dig into, and I definitely love finding things, and I was happy to see that it's so well laid out, because even though there can be a lot to find, it's just not open-ended. Like, things are numbered, things are very clearly conveyed on like what you can do. That way I think you can kind of just like plan out what you really do want to invest your time into and make the most of it. So I'm glad it was thoughtfully put not only onto the planet searching, but also into space, where you can also go explore space a bit in your ship and have fun time there. So yeah, there's definitely plenty work to be done, at least in the little bit we saw.
So those are the 5 things that stood out to us during our time playing Star Wars Outlaws. Now, Miranda's going to have a lot of work ahead of her on August 30th when this game launches on PC, Xbox, and